Thank you for favor, oh God. God, if I had 10,000 tongues, I couldn't say enough thank yous, and I couldn't praise you enough. So in this song, I'll simply tell you I love you, and God, I thank you for everything you've done. Lord, there's so many things that you've done for me. Blessings unconditional, they seem to overtake me. Your hand of mercy proving faithful and true. Jesus, how can I express my thanks to you for your grace and kindness, oh, agent of days. I'll give you thanks, oh Lord, now and always. Oh, I just want to say thank you for your love. Thank you. Thank you for the blood. Thanks to you for all of the times that you brought me through. Lord, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for your grace. Thank you, Lord, for keeping me safe. Thanks to you that I can share the good news of a Savior, to give someone a reason just to tell you thanks. Oh Lord, yeah. Thank you, Lord. Lord, it's not enough to give a simple praise to the one who has blessed me in so many ways. Nothing I can say or do could really show my gratitude to you, Lord. One God, one love, one faith. To you I give you praise. Three blessed Trinity, you mean so much to me. And you shower me with love, even when I turned away. Lord, I could never repay you, so I'll just say, I just want to say thank you for your love. Thank you for the blood. Thanks to you for all of the times that you brought me through. I just want to say thank you. Thank you for your grace. Thank you, Lord, for keeping me safe. Thanks to you that I can share the good news of a Savior, to give someone a reason just to tell you for your love. Lord, I thank you for the blood. Thanks to you for all of the times that you brought me through. Lord, I thank you for your grace. Lord, for keeping me safe. And I can share the good news of a Savior, to give someone a reason just to tell you thanks. Oh, Lord, thank you.
Truly, the real you loves you. Truly, the real you loves you. Truly, the real you loves you. Truly, the real you loves you. Truly.
All right, and good evening, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's brand new season and brand new episode of Truly Live with your co-host Oliver and
Yolanda,
Oliver,
who's
Oliver and Yolanda, who's getting her due
I'm
right.
cold, cold,
And welcome everyone,
and I
and
have
this
no chats.
and you have no chats. She has comments. There you go.
Wow.
And welcome to our brand new season, season 4. Yes, we're starting a whole new season here in 2025. Uh, I just have a sense that this year is going to be somewhat different than all the other ones that have gone before. So, hey, we might as well just start it brand new and let's just see where this year takes us. We're excited. Hope you are excited. We have a special show tonight. We have a special guest tonight, and we have a special reason for being here. This kind of been our custom to meet the current
Oh, Jesus.
season that we're in, which happens every year. The first 3-4 months of the year, where we all know that taxes are mandatory, and we're in the tax season, and so we've used the month of January to, I guess we can call this Mr. Wilson's month, but we've over the last 3 years, during the month of January, we've brought on a tax expert to kind of help update the community with tax strategies, tax tips, and I guess is not only a tax strategist, but he's also an entrepreneur and is very passionate not only about helping in the area of taxes, but helping in the area of helping people to understand how to invest and build wealth and prepare for retirement. And so he has a wealth of knowledge and experience that he brings to here to our platform, and so he's going to be with us tonight. He's backstage. He's excited, and we're looking forward to bringing him on. But before we do that, we'd like to say welcome to 2025. This is our first episode this year, and we're going to be like really, really diving into bringing more resources, more expertise, more knowledge, more information, relevant information to the community so that you can, be not only informed, but you can also be prepared for having your best year. So, we talk about it here all the time that, we ask the question many times, what's the greatest expense in life? We ask that question, what is the greatest expense in life? And generally we get answers like, oh, my greatest expense is my mortgage. Or what's another response we generally get?
Um, Taxes.
My greatest expense are my taxes, right? And then sometimes we get off the cuff responses where people say, well, my greatest expense is my children, which is true. But anyway, um, what we have come to learn through our experience is really the greatest expenses in the greatest expenses life in life is not knowing. Is not knowing. And right. And when you don't know how something works, you can't align with it to take advantage of how it works, and we actually work against it, and we end up hurting ourselves or not really getting the mileage out of what the thing was intended to do, right? And so it's the same way with uh, having or not having a tax strategy when it comes to your personal or business tax. And so we're going to bring Chris on so that we can eliminate the response. We can eliminate the fact that we don't know, because he's going to share some some basic things about the tax code and what we should be aware of going into this season. And then he's got some exciting news to share with us about a resource that he's going to be making available this year, so you can really dive deep into um, not only taxes but your whole financial approach to life. Right. So with that said, we're going to bring Mr. Wilson. And before we do that, we got to say hello, Grandma Blue. We know you're out there. Speaking of my mother and Yolanda's mother-in-law, who's supporting us like she always have. And anytime we go live, my mom's going to be there. All 92 plus years of her being. So she stays on her growing edge, and she's always about expansion. She's always about being better and getting better. And she knows that it happens through knowledge. So we're going to get some good knowledge tonight. So with that said,
and we're saying hello to all of our other patrons.
all of our other patrons,
And
yes.
for those of you who are with us from time to time, hello and welcome.
Yes. Well, hello there, Chris.
Good evening. Good evening. Happy New Year to everyone, particularly Grandma Blue.
Yeah.
Welcome. I'm excited to be with you and the entire group this evening. I see you're kicking off the new year in high style. So happy New Year to you. Great to see you both. And just looking forward to, as we always do, sharing what I know about the upcoming tax season, and hopefully will leave you with an opportunity to strengthen your financial foundation.
Well, thank you. You always share great information with us and help us to meet our requirements.
and be empowered, man.
Yes.
Be empowered.
Yeah.
So with that said, just a brief introduction. First of all, Chris is a native of Shelby, North Carolina, I believe.
That is correct. That is correct.
Yeah.
Shelby proper.
Shelby proper. And Chris is also a graduate of Winston-Salem State University.
Our alum. Go Rams.
Go Ram. In fact, that's where I met this young man at. And since graduation, Chris has been on this entrepreneurial journey, and what he has been able to accomplish in his lifetime is extremely incredible. Chris is the last I checked, he's the owner of 13 H&R Block franchises throughout North Carolina and Southern Virginia. That may have changed since the last we talked.
Yeah, it was 14.
14.
Yeah, 14
yes.
stores, still 14 stores. Yeah.
So he got 14 locations, H&R Block's location, where he provides full tax service needs, as well as Chris has, as an entrepreneur, has other endeavors, business owner. He's a business owner in other adventures and other ventures. And, Chris has proven through his results and the outcomes that you can achieve, financial independence, financial freedom, and also you can live a life as a servant to the people and the communities in which he lives. And so not only as a business person, but as an alumni, as a community person, Chris has always been a giver. He's always been one who has been a pioneer, or he goes out ahead of the group, gets the information, and brings it back to the tribe, so all the tribe can prosper. Right? Yes. That's a good way of putting it. Yes. Right? And he continues to do that. And we're going to talk about something exciting that he's going to be launching here in the very near future that's going to really empower you to expand your knowledge where your finances are concerned. So that's just a brief introduction. And there are so many other things that Chris has been involved with and have been a blessing to so many people. Been a blessing to us.
Yes.
Well, yeah, glad to hear that. And let's get started with just some background around where we are tax wise. Presidents matter. We just inaugurated a new president. And I think back to the time when I was in college, Jimmy Carter was the president. Jimmy Carter was big on Pell Grants, and that was really, really instrumental in my ability to be able to go to college, matriculate through college, and graduate. Had it not been for the Pell Grants that were part of the Carter administration, I would not be sitting here before you as I am tonight. And so I did do and lots of us can testify to that.
Yes.
Lots of us can testify. And, I thought about that during Carter's funeral, and I just reflected back, and I just thought, and I actually wrote a post on it, and just really just kind of gave him his props in terms of what he was able to accomplish during his 4 years in office. He did not get reelected. Reagan came in behind him. But we're thankful, Gwen and I are thankful and blessed that he was there when he was. And that has made a significant impact in where we are. So elections matter. Who becomes president matters. And that being said, we are where we are. And, it feels like, we may be going in a different direction. But let's talk a little bit about the tax situation and where we are. If you remember the taxes where we are, the tax code, the tax structure, tax policy that we're in right now was established during President Trump's first term. And it was set in 2017, established in 2017, and it, oddly enough, was to last through 2025. Where we're in the beginning of 2025. This is the last year of those tax cuts. So they are set to expire unless they extend them or do something else tax-wise. And there were some significant changes in the tax laws back in 2017. The standard deduction went up significantly, which alleviated the need for many to process any standard deduction like mortgage interest or charitable deductions, contributions, things of that nature. This year, the standard deduction is going to be for a married couple is almost $30,000. For a single person, it's going to be $14,600. So those are pretty significant standard deductions. And basically what that means is the government's going to give you deductions against your income of that amount. And if you're head of household, that amount is going to be $21,900. So you get that much right off the top, and for many people, they don't have to bother with itemizing deductions or gathering up all of the charitable and state taxes and things of that nature. For a lot of people, that's a good benefit, and it helps them tremendously. That being said, there are also some downsides to this, in that there is this what's called a SALT tax, and it caps any of your sales tax or your state taxes and personal property taxes, things of that nature, at $10,000. And that's been a big thorn in the side of lots of folks for years, particularly the states where the income tax, the state tax is high. New York, California, Connecticut, places like that are typically are known also as the blue states. So that's, and New Jersey is in that category as well. So that's a thorn in the side of most folks. And that's something that folk are pushing for change to have that increase from 10,000 up to 20,000 or more, as they negotiate what's going to happen in the new year. So it will be an interesting year from a tax standpoint for what's going to happen in 2026. But we're here in 2025. There's not much in terms of change as it relates to what we've been doing for the last few years. But I wanted to share with you some of the things, some of the tweaks that are happening or are occurring for the upcoming tax season. I first want to talk about the NIL. As you all are aware, college athletes are now able to be paid for their services as athletes. And the amount of money that some of these athletes are getting is just phenomenal. You know, here in Durham, I think that the star basketball player, I heard one number upwards of $6 million to be able to stay at Duke and play basketball at Duke. A lot of the players are getting this money. The football players are getting this money. And so they need to understand how to manage it. And if they don't, then it's going to run right through their fingers. We are encouraging particularly our African-American athletes to take some different avenues, do some things differently as it relates to once they get the money, what they do with it. We encourage them to establish their own companies, to not set up a sole proprietor or Schedule C. That's the simplest thing to set up, but it's the most highly taxed thing to set up. So we help them avoid, just a high tax situation by walking them through what they need to do, why they need to do it, and also helping them to understand that investing is something they need to get involved in while time is on their side, and to learn about investing while they're young. And we're excited about being able to work with some of these athletes and get them set up in such a way that they are building their financial foundation even as college kids, as 20, 21-year-old students. And that can be a powerful launching pad for them, or it could be, just an opportunity for them to go through hundreds of thousands of dollars and have nothing to show for it if they, aren't careful with what's happening with them. Taxes can eat up a lot of that money, and that's if you need to pay taxes. A lot of these kids aren't aware that taxes are due on the money that they're getting from the collectives and things of that nature. So it's a tremendous opportunity to help and to educate and to kind of help these young folk make their way financially.
Chris, you made a good point there. A couple of good points, because I'm sure there's some young folks that's going to watch this live or the replay, but there's going to be a whole lot of people that's in their mid-career years and retirement years that watch this, that's a part of this community. Mm-hmm. You said a couple things there, right? You said that you help them to set up businesses, right? And I think you mentioned at a minimum, what you're saying is at a minimum, a person that is bringing in income should at least have a business set up and not in the form of what you're saying, an LLC,
A sole proprietor,
a sole
Schedule
proprietor,
C.
right?
There's not much involved into establishing yourself as a sole proprietor. They are the easiest business entity type to establish. And most African American businesses, by the way, are set up as sole proprietors. I think 93% of African American businesses are that, simply because it is the simplest thing to do, the simplest way to get into business. But what most don't understand, it is the most highly taxed entity as well. So there are some ways that you can structure a business entity to where you can manage and control what the tax situation or the tax implications are going to be. And that's what we want to. We want to get them started off in the right direction, and so that they don't have to work their way back and clean up something that didn't get started the right way and lose a lot of money in the process of learning how to navigate the financial roadmap that's before them.
Well, as a 40-year-old or 50-year-old, everyone that's involved with taxes are we missing out on tax breaks or tax opportunities when we don't have a business set up, some vehicle for which we can engage in certain tax benefits?
Yeah. So for the typical American that's not involved in a business, no, they're not missing out. They work, they get W-2 at the end of tax season. That pretty much defines what their taxes or what taxes they're going to owe. And that's standard for the vast majority of the American population is to get a W-2 from wherever you're employed. Some of the things that we want to look out for this year is if you are working as a small business or a Uber driver or a DoorDash driver, things of that nature. Number one, you're in business. You're in a business, and you're going to be taxed and treated like a business as a result of doing that. And you're going to get a 1099 at the end of the year. Last year, you got a 1099 if you generated more than $20,000 in revenue. The companies were required to issue you a 1099. Well, this year that the threshold is if you make at least $5,000, the companies are going to be required to issue you a 1099. Next year, if you make $2,500 or more, they're going to issue the 1099. And in 26, if you make the minimum of $600, guess what? You're going to be issued a 1099. The company is going to be required to issue you a 1099. So the government is going all in on making sure that these revenues that are coming in as a result of working, these part-time or side gigs or gig jobs like driving or door dashing and things of that nature. Those vendors that you work for are due to issue out these 1099s. And they're also going to issue, when they issue it to you, they also issue it to the government. So the government's expecting that amount of money to come in, or at least to have a starting point of that's how much money you started with. Now, you do have these other sources like Zelle and things of that nature. Those are not being reported to the government. But, if you're making money through Zelle or some of these other Venmo, eBay, or things like that, this 1099 threshold applies to those as well. So you need to be mindful that if you're making this money, Number one, I had a client to say to me, well, who's going to know how much money I made? I was, well, the government's going to know because your Uber company is also reporting that information. And it's a good rule of thumb to know that whatever you're making, just be prepared to set aside 30% of that to cover taxes. And a lot of people, particularly first year drivers or gig workers, they get caught by that, in that, they got the money, it's good money, it's easy money, and now it's gone, and now it's time to settle up from a tax standpoint. And they don't realize that, okay, you needed to have set aside 30 cents out of every dollar you got so that you can cover the tax bill associated with generating that income.
Yeah, and that's the current environment. There's a tremendous amount of people that are working 2 and 3 jobs, and
Exactly.
all of that, like you said, all of that gets reported. And because the one thing that I have found that you don't want to get entangled with, or you don't want to get entangled with the IRS. You do not want them knocking on your door.
Yeah,
So,
and our goal is to keep people out of trouble with the IRS. Particularly small business. Small businesses are in business to generate income. They're not in business to haggle with the IRS. And it's so important to just start out the right way and stay on the straight and narrow, so that you can focus on running your business and not having to deal with the IRS on tax-related issues.
So, Chris, you specifically mentioned Zelle, eBay, those, but in years past, we discussed Cash App.
Cash App, yeah, those are
Yeah, because
those are Cash App.
that was the one that was going to require filings to be done, and then it was delayed another year. So you want to talk about Cash App, because a lot of people, we did discuss that.
Yeah. So with companies like Cash App and Zelle, the thing that you have to remember is, however much money that they report that you got, then you need to start with that amount on your tax return. Now, we all know that in your Cash App, you're just sharing money between friends or splitting a bill or whatever. That's not taxable, but it is included in what is part of your Cash App money that went back and forth. So the government is looking to match up the number that they got with the number that you got. So you need to put that number on your tax return, but then immediately following that, you can back out those transactions that aren't business related. Yeah. But if you just back out that number and then just start with the business amount, there's going to be a mismatch at the government. And then that could trigger just a bevy of letters and miscommunication and stress related situations, as a result of doing that. When all you need to do is just match the top number with what they have and then back out whatever it is. There's the tax form allows for that. And that way it just kind of keeps them matched up, and the machine, the IRS, everything's electronic. And so when everything matches, they're good, and they just keep moving. It doesn't get pushed off into a side slot. And then go down the path of generating all these letters that you need to deal with. So it's important. It's important to match up those numbers, make sure that they are, you're putting on your tax return the numbers that you're getting on those 1099 forms. It can be higher than what you get in 1099, but it can't be lower than what you're getting. That's going to be a red flag. The other area where the government is kind of getting more streamlined is around the digital assets, the cryptocurrency, things of that nature. You need to keep really, really good records around that. they are getting their act together around tracking and managing the sale of these assets and the purchase and the acquisition of these assets as well. So just be mindful of that as you're dealing with crypto and things of that nature. There is an exception for new early distributions. Normally, if you take a distribution from a retirement account and you're under 59 and a half, there's a 10% distribution penalty. Those have been waived for the year 2024. And for situations where there's an emergency, personal expenses, or you're victims of domestic violence, you can take the money out and not be forced to pay the 10% penalty. You still have to pay the income tax on it, but you don't have to pay that 10% penalty. And we all know this year has been a tough year with the hurricanes and the disaster situations throughout 2024. And even what's going on over in California as we speak. It's been 24 was a tough year, and 25 is starting out, particularly on the West Coast, to be a tough year as well. But the government has provided some relief in that. You can take some emergency funds out of and not be faced with that 10% penalty. If you all remember back in 2008, you could be a first-time home buyer and you get that tax credit, and that you had to pay back over a 15-year period. You'd have to pay it back. Well, the good news is 2024 is the last year of those payments. So if you've been stretching them out over that period of time, this tax season will be the last year that you have to deal with that first-time home buyer repayment credit that you got. Let's see, other tax benefits for 2024, higher catch-up contributions for employers in retirement plans. The catch-up contribution of $11,250 for 401ks, and for simple IRAs, as much as $5,200, and over and above the standard amounts that you can contribute in an effort to catch up on your retirement savings.
So that's like from previous years when you didn't make contribution.
Yes,
you can catch up in the current year, right? So what actions can we take between now? A person can take between now and the actual filing of their taxes that can affect their 2024 taxes. Is there anything that I can do now, even though the year is over, to benefit my 2024 filing?
Yeah, you can still up to April the 10th, I believe, make contributions to your retirement account, an IRA in particular, and have that count for 2024. Oftentimes we see situations where if somebody's just slightly over in a tax bracket, then what we can do is recommend that they make an IRA contribution to get them back into the other tax bracket and reduce their tax bill significantly by doing that. So that one of the things, if you've got a good tax practitioner, they'll catch that for you. And they'll know what tax bracket you're in, and if you're just over one bracket into another.
And that date was April what?
April the 10th. April the 10th. Yeah. If you are inheriting a family member's retirement account, you have up to 10 years to draw down that account. It doesn't follow the same rules for inheritance like other assets. Like if you inherit a house, or you inherit some land, or you inherit some stock. But if you inherit your family member's 401k, then that's going to be taxable income to whoever's inheriting it. They have 10 years to draw it down. And you can do it all in the 10th year, or you can do a 10th a year, or you can do however you want to do it but by the time you get to the 10th year, it needs to all have been drawn down. And when you draw it down, it's going to be taxable income. One of the strategies you want to use is once you turn 65, then your Medicare kicks in, and your Medicare premiums are set based on how much your income is. So if you've got one of these 401ks that you're drawing down over 10 years, it may be to your benefit to draw all of that down before you turn 65, because you got to pay taxes on it anyway. And if you wait until after 65 to draw it all down, then you're going to be paying taxes on it, and you're going to have a higher Medicare, Medicaid payment, not Medicaid, Medicare payment, because it's based on your income for the year. And so the higher your income, the higher the Medicare payments are going to be. So just something to keep in mind there. If you're in that situation and you can manage it in that manner, just keep that in the back of your mind. And we talked about the digital assets, and there are going to be some required minimum distributions that you have to take into account if you have traditional IRAs. However, that does not come into play if you have Roth IRAs. I encourage young people to do Roth IRAs. Let me repeat that. I encourage young people to do Roth IRAs. If given a choice between a traditional and a Roth, do a Roth. I just think the Roth is one of the best opportunities for saving and investing. You don't get the tax break up front, but you don't have to pay taxes on it, on the backside. And you don't have to draw it down by a certain date either.
So the primary difference between a traditional IRA and a Roth IRA is that the traditional IRA is not taxed. The contributions are not taxed when you make them. But in a Roth IRA, when you make contribution to your Roth IRA, it is taxed at that time.
You make contributions to your Roth IRA with after-tax
dollars, right? And so when you withdraw it, you don't have to pay taxes on it.
Right.
Traditional, when you withdraw the IRA, you make the taxes. You're paying the taxes when you withdraw it. So people don't understand why do I have to pay taxes on my retirement account?
Yeah. And on the earnings, if you invest it and it generates income, that has to stay invested in a Roth account for at least 5 years before you start to draw it out. Now you can take your money out that you put in at any time, but the earnings have to stay there for at least 5 years, or it becomes taxable when you draw it down.
Who wrote these rules? What's the intent here? The intent is to get revenue, right?
The Roth is really, I think, one of the sweeter deals that you can get. It's designed to start early, to encourage you to start early, and to invest, regularly and consistently. But it's also important not only just to invest, but to make sure that the money that you're investing is being put to work on your behalf, so that it continues to grow as well over time. And then when you draw it down on the back end, there's no tax. There's no tax associated with it.
Yeah, well, so the person listening to the information that you're sharing today, they're saying that sounds good. However, I need my money now, and I need all of my money now.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to ignore, these tax laws. I'm not filing. I'm not filing taxes this year. I've had some real hardships, and then I'm just gonna deal with it.
Yeah.
What do you say to that person?
Believe it or not, we do see that person come in. The government has ways of enforcing you to become compliant. They can literally go into your bank account and take what's there if you are not responding or making efforts to take care of your tax burden. So that's like you said at the top of the show, you just don't want to get on the wrong side of the IRS. You want to stay compliant. You want to stay on the straight and narrow. And particularly if you're in business, if you're spending a lot of time dealing with IRS issues, that means you're not spending time growing your business or managing your business, and that's just not a good position to be in. So that pretty much is it from a tax standpoint. It's going to be an interesting year to see what the Congress comes up with for what the tax situation will be for next year. So we'll see what the outcome is going to be. The only thing I'm certain about is it's going to be interesting. Other than that, not really sure what to expect. So there's a lot of uncertainty there, but the certainty part of it is going to be interesting how this thing shapes up by the end of the year.
But there will be a tax code in place. They're not just going to do away with taxation, right?
Right. If they can't come to agreement, then the current tax policy expires and it defaults back to what was in place before it, which means you've got to go back and redo forms the way they were back in 2016 and go back to standard deductions and things of that nature. So we'll see what comes out. I don't anticipate that will happen, but all bets are off as to what will happen, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So I wanted
right. Well, let's pause here, and if you kind of jumped in on this live session of Truly Live tonight, and you're wondering who's speaking, well, we have as our special guest tonight Chris Wilson, who is a resident tax expert, the owner of multiple H&R Block locations, and he serves many communities with full tax service. And Chris has been a regular here on our platform each year. We bring him around this time of the year so that maybe he can help reduce some of the anxiety, some of the misinformation, or some of the lack of information that results in us getting ourselves entangled, right, with
Yes.
Bad tax decisions, and not having a tax strategy or tax blueprint can really set you back.
Yes,
And
I often say the lack of tax knowledge is expensive.
Yes. So Chris is with us. If you got any questions or comments about anything that he's already shared, you can put them in the comments. This is also a good place to pause. Chris, I think I still have, let's see here. I think I still have let's see.
Would you look at the time? It's tax time. You already know H&R Block does taxes, but here's what you may not know when you file with H&R Block, like how you can get expert help in person or virtually. Plus, our tax pros average 10 years of experience. You can even request to work with the same tax pro every year, and your biggest possible refund is always guaranteed. No one offers more ways to help with your taxes than H&R Block. At H&R Block, help is here.
All right.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, I still have that. So All right. So we also mentioned up front that Chris has been working on a project that is going to provide a resource that can help anyone to not only create tax strategies, but can create financial strategies that include and impacts, how we live at the in the last chapters of our lives in terms of retirement. And I think, Chris, and you can tell me if I'm not seeing this right, but a lot of that motivation came from your experience in dealing with people and seeing some of the pitfalls and tragedies, financial tragedies that people get into from not knowing and not starting early and having a solid tax foundation or financial foundation or having financial literacy to really understand how money works and how we can have our money to work for us versus work against us. And
Exactly.
so we want to share what you've been working on behind the scene and what we can look forward to.
Okay. So for the last 22 years, I've been in the tax business, and we do several thousand tax returns annually. So we see a lot. We see, things done right. We see the good, the bad, the ugly. We see everything from A to Z as, clients that are trying to get their refund to keep the lights on, to clients who have so much money that they literally don't know what to do with it. So in that gamut, over the years, one thing is just really become crystal clear to me that we as a community, the African American community, we are in a retirement crisis, and nobody's coming to save us. The issue is we can do a fairly good job of building a nest egg, and there's lots of help out there to help you to accomplish that. But once you've got your nest egg built, then what happens? And the decisions you make upon leaving the world of work and becoming a full-time retiree, the decisions you make with your nest egg matter significantly, and they will have an impact on you literally for the rest of your life. Now, a lot of us are using, certain tools to convert our life savings into a retirement tool of some sort that will guarantee us a certain amount of income. We as a people, we like certainty. We don't like fluctuation in the market, things of that nature. So I get how easy it is for us to kind of gravitate toward these products, but the reality of it is these products don't keep pace with inflation. And so while you may have a good first year retirement, a good first 3 to 5 years of retirement, if you're fortunate enough to be 5, 10, 15 years into retirement, that number you agreed to up front has not changed. And all the while, that all of the prices around everything that involves life are changing and going up on a daily basis, literally. And so I put forth in the form of a book that should be out in the coming weeks, that will be out in the coming weeks, or probably late February, early March. And it's called How to Make Your Nest Egg Last a Lifetime. And we put forth some strategies in there that folk can use to not only sustain themselves comfortably in retirement, but also to be able to leave a legacy for those loved ones that they will leave behind at some point. And right now, we are not doing that, and that's a great concern to me. And this is my my contribution to the effort to bend the arc for our community toward prosperity.
Wow. So that's very much needed, right? And no matter what age you are or what stage you are in your career, your income earning years, I mean, it's never too late to assess where you are, right, Chris?
Absolutely.
And then, you know, get the right counseling, get the right support, and create a blueprint, a strategic, you know, financial blueprint to help secure a future, like you said, that will cause your resources to, you know, be inflationary, guard against inflation, and
Exactly.
keep you, because there's so many boomers that have retired. There's so many boomers that have actually come back into the workforce because of that very thing that you said. It don't last a lifetime.
Right.
And
Please repeat the name of the book.
It's How to Make Your Nest Egg Last a Lifetime.
wow, that is so needed.
And so I'm really excited about, you know, this opportunity to put forth this book. I thought I had one book in me. This is it. I don't know what the future holds, but I'm really excited about this. It's filling a gap and a need that, you know, everybody knows that we're struggling in retirement, but nobody's put forth a solution or a recommendation in how to change that for us.
So how can people get the book? Who is
So it will be available on Amazon.
okay?
You know, just as soon as it's ready for publish, we'll come back here and share that. We'll
Yes,
also,
we're definitely going to bring you back, so that
And
we-
the time frame is, you said
February, March
Yes.
time frame.
it's very soon. So we're definitely going to plan to bring you back, Chris, and be
yes.
if you have us and allow our platform and our community to be a part of your launch.
Absolutely.
Because again, you know, the information is needed, because like you said, there's so many people, so many boomers are, you know, struggling in their retirement, and even, you know, coming back by record rates coming back into the workforce.
Right.
You know, I have some personal experience with that, even my own self. So, but the point is, it's never too late to assess where you are
And to make some changes.
and to make some changes based on sound advice, sound information. So yeah, we're gonna have you back here, you know, right in the time that you're gonna launch this thing. So
All
thank
right.
thank
Well,
you.
thank you for the opportunity to share that. And I hope the audience got something from what I shared tonight that will help them to strengthen their financial foundation.
Yeah. Well, so here we are going into the last week of January. So the tax deadlines this year remain at the 15th of the month, or I think it's been at the 18th for the last couple of years. So what's
the
what's the
15th.
timeline this year?
Yeah, the 15th falls in the middle of the week. I believe it's on a Tuesday, April 15th. So it'll be there won't be any extensions taking it through the weekend or whatever the case might be.
That's for individual returns. So it's different with S corps, right?
Right. Individual returns are April 15th. Entity returns like corporations, S corps, partnerships are March 15th. So, and so it's high time to start getting it together and getting the taxes done.
Right. So if someone wants to look into your services, how can they connect with you, Chris?
They can connect with me by looking me up on H&R Block, Chris Wilson on H&R Block website. You can actually, we can work virtually, we can work remotely, we can work in the office. We have several different ways for you to accomplish this task. My email address is chwilson@hrblock.com.
HR Block.
And that's a good way to reach out to me. But you can also find me on LinkedIn as well. We'll use the book announcement there as well once it's available on Amazon. For tax appointments, reach out to me at 919-294-8598. 919
294-8598. Let me get those up. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Yolanda's going to put that in the comments. But I think in addition to you being providing tax services during the tax season, but you also provide tax services year round. What does that look like?
We do. We're open year round. We do offer in addition to that is bookkeeping services, payroll and bookkeeping. And believe it or not, lots of people come in with multiple years of taxes in the off season because the government's caught up with them and saying, hey, you haven't done taxes in 3 years. You need to get that done. We see 3 years, 5 years. It's not uncommon for somebody to come in with 5 years worth of tax returns that need to be done. We're available year round. That's important for us that, we don't roll up the sidewalk on April 15th and leave you on your own until January the 1st of the next year. We're here, we're available, we can help with all things tax related and business services related.
Okay, well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. You've heard it from our tax expert advisor, and we're excited about the resource that you're going to have available in maybe the next couple of months. And we're going to have Chris back once he's launched his new book, and going to get Chris to discuss some of the nuggets that's there, and also make it available to our community. Because again, without a clear understanding, the wisdom book says our people perish because of lack of knowledge, right?
Yes.
Because of lack of knowing. And so what we try to provide here on our Truly Live platform is relevant information that inspires you to take action based on relevant knowledge, so that it empowers you. It empowers you to have control of the things that you can control in your life. Because of course, life always presents some unexpected, but the more you have a plan and the more that you have knowledge and a blueprint that you're working for, the more you're able to navigate those troubling waters when they appear in our life. And so financial literacy, tax knowledge, the things that Chris has dedicated his life to are these things that a lot of time we buried our head in the sand, right? And have tried to navigate these waters without real knowledge, and we've just only created more pain for ourselves. So, but you don't have to have that. You don't have to have that experience. We have this resource here in this community, and you can reach out to Chris. Yolanda just put his email address up and his phone number for all your tax needs. And it doesn't have to be just for tax filing, but he provides business um, financial services, tax services during the entire year to help you to be at peace or have a peace of mind about your taxes and your financial situation. So Chris, thank you so much again for being willing to come on here and share with our community.
My pleasure.
Yes.
It's all mine. It's great to
Yes.
see both of you.
Thank you. And 2025, yes, there's a lot of uncertainty about where and how. But the one thing that you can do is to educate yourself, right?
Absolutely.
And, one thing you can do is educate yourself, regardless of who's in office. All right, because I mean, tax code's been around as long as all of us been around,
Yes.
and it's going to continue to be around. So just being knowledgeable of what the responsibility and how it works and what advantages are out there and benefits are out there that we can take advantage of. So that's what's important. Being in the know.
Yeah.
All right, honey.
All right.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
All right, we're gonna stick a pin in this episode. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Yolanda and I take great pleasure in providing
Let's see.
these bi-weekly here in 2025. We're going to be providing these bi-weekly live shows the second and the fourth Thursday of each month. We'll be on here, if not sharing from our own resources, but we'll be having really, really important and highly trained and experienced experts like Chris to help add value and build goodwill into our community. So stay with us. Stay with us because you can learn and grow here in this environment. All right. So
All right. Well, are we ending like we normally?
we're going to end like we normally do.
I would know.
You would know.
I would not know.
Oh, absolutely.
So anyway, we are appreciative of you all being here with us. We don't take this for granted. We bless all of you who've joined with us and all those that you hold near and dear in your heart.
So, may you be truly happy.
May you live in peace.
May you live in love.
May you know the power of forgiveness.
And may you live in the recognition that your life has deep meaning and good purpose.
That's the Dalai Lama's loving kindness meditation that we say as a prayer. And Oliver and I add to that, may you live in the awareness of who you truly are. We extend this blessing to every being on the planet.
And so it is.
Wow.
Okay, and so it is. A little technical difficulty there. So thank you so much. Until next time, my name is Oliver.
I'm Yolanda.
And together we are the OK Blues.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I know I have not always been what you want me to be. Even at times I pushed your sweet love away, but you stay right here beside me, never letting me go. Now I know the love I needed was right here all along. I know that love to forgive all the hurt and pain. Love is enough to remove all the guilt and shame. Love is enough to make up for what I made. I know that love is enough. God's love is enough.